The Telecom minister is at pains to explain that this is not mandatory and that the app can be removed from the phones. Yes, it does give you protection if you do decide to keep the app on your phone and, of course, initiate it. But if you don't want it, it can be removed. So joining us on this discussion to break down the various subjects that come up through this entire Sanchar Saathi app and what the government is asking of the companies like Apple and Samsung as well is telecom expert Mahesh Uppal. He's director at First and Rakshit Tandon is also with us, a cybersecurity expert. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Mr. Uppal, now that Apple has taken this firm stand, saying that it cannot preload a government-mandated app, not just in India, but anywhere in the world, because they say it compromises user privacy and platform security. That's what we're hearing. But how significant is that pushback right now? What does it mean for our regulatory approach to these global tech giants like Apple and Samsung?
I think it is going to be tough to implement this for reasons that you have also discussed. And I do believe that there is need for more clarity on the purpose of this app. Nobody can possibly doubt the need to protect people from cyber fraud or, for that matter, illegal handsets. But I think the app itself has functionality far beyond that. And I do believe that there is need for some clarification, maybe written clarification from the government, because the rules, 7B in particular, says explicitly that the app cannot be disabled or removed. And for the minister, as you heard just now, is in fact saying that it can be. So there is obviously some confusion that we need to dispel. But I do believe that the app, despite its the good intentions, is a sledgehammer approach. It is something that is an overkill and is something that we should be concerned about, because privacy is much more important and does require a proportionate response. We would not, for example, be happy with a million CCTV cameras, even though we might believe that all those cameras improve security.
Yes.
Because there are other concerns as well. So I think much the same way, this app has the potential, not necessarily the intention of the people providing it, but the potential for abuse. And that is something that reasonable people should be concerned about.
Certainly. Rakshit Tandon, what's your view? Between privacy and cybersecurity, where would you lean? The government is saying that this app is meant to protect users from fraud and spam calls and cyber scams, that the app can be uninstalled is what they are saying. But from a cybersecurity standpoint, do you think it still softens our privacy? And do you think these pre-installation mandates do raise red flags like the opposition is suggesting?
Vikram, as you were showing the statistics, and it is true that this app has been in function for last 2 years. And more than 46 lakh mobile phones have been blocked, and more than 26 lakh mobile phones have been traced. And so as there have been a lot of fraudulent cyber frauds which were reported on the Chakshu. So it's been in use for a long time. It has more than 1.5 crore downloads. As of now, I've been also using it. And in my cybersecurity talks and awareness programs, we have been promoting this, because we have seen when the phone is stolen, the first misuse is that your banks are being attacked. And looking at 2024 statistics of 23,000 crores almost gone to cyber fraud. So this application was in use. Yes, now this mandate coming in of pre-installation, and as Mahesh ji mentioned about the 7B clause, which I'm not aware of, but as it was quoted by the minister also, that it can be removed. I'm personally using it, and I have checked it on App Store as well as Play Store, that no excessive permission has been taken by the app. So there is no data collected as of now on Play Store. If you check on Google, it is not collecting or taking any permission, and it asks for the user registration. So when you install this app, as of now, it is available on both Apple and Samsung and Android operating system, it will ask the user to register. Once you register, then you start using it. It can also tell you the number of connections listed in your name, which is again, it can be misused by the hackers, where you never come to know that how many SIMs are issued in my name. So as of now, I don't see any red flag or a threat coming in. The idea of pre-installation is to the awareness to the user, because see, we have more than 80 crore users in the country on internet active, and only this app in last 2 years have generated 1.5 crore downloads.
Right.
So that most of the population and internet users are not aware of these features.
Right.
That yes, today if your phone is stolen, it can be tracked. Today, sitting at home, you can know how many SIMs are registered in your name. And if you are an aware user and somebody is calling you for a digital arrest, you can go to Chakshu and report, so that that number can be taken down in future.
So, Mr. Uppal, just taking away from what we are hearing from Mr. Tandon, do you think the problem over here is the pre-installation? Apple and Samsung, they're reportedly preparing to convey their concerns about this to New Delhi, to the center. But typically, what would happen in such negotiations if it indeed is about pre-installations? You think the government needs to recalibrate? Do tech companies eventually fall in line? What generally happens in negotiations if it comes to that now? Something that you were saying will need more clarification, even for the companies who've been asked for pre-installation of this app.
My understanding is that there will be two sets of issues, certainly, that the companies will be interested in. Obviously, the technical part of doing so, as well as the commercial part of doing so, in terms of what it costs them to do all this. And I do believe that, as your own correspondent pointed out, particularly Apple, but certainly other companies also, would be concerned that the app has an app that they are not in full control of is being pre-installed. Now, as I mentioned to you, this may not be the intention of the government, but certainly the potential for abuse or the potential for overreach is there. I completely accept Mr. Rakshit's point that, the number of permissions it currently asks is limited, but the other permissions are right there for you to give or not to give. So, I think the real challenge is to give some people comfort.
Yes.
That the response to a genuine problem of whether it is cyber fraud or whether it is illegal devices is a proportional one.
Right.
Nobody would have any concern. Nobody would have a problem with actually taking steps to remove the problems or to deal with the problems that we are currently facing.
Mr. Tandon, from a technical standpoint, if one has to assess this, preloading any app, even one that is intended for user protection, does it introduce potential vulnerabilities, you think, or break the integrity of, these tightly controlled ecosystems? We know iOS is one such, which is tightly controlled by way of an ecosystem, by way of its security protocol. So do you think there is a case for Apple in this instance to say that, look, this doesn't work for them?
So yes, Apple or Android, whatever operating system, they will have their mandate checks before, if they even have to decide to put it as a pre-install. So they will go through all their protocols, they will do complete vulnerability assessment of the application and the server on which it is hosted before they bring anything into pre-installed ecosystem of their own OS. So yes, it is true, they will do the prerequisites check for all the applications, because see, at the end of the day, this app is still available on App Store. That means App Store has already taken in this app on their App Store. It is only for the user to go and install it. And this was there not today only, it is there for almost a year now. So that means they've already taken the testing part. But now introducing it as a pre-installation thing, yes, they will definitely go through all checks.
So in that case, now that the checks are going to be done, Mr. Uppal, since we heard the union minister, you heard him as well, he's clarified that the app is not mandatory. If that is indeed the case, then one wonders, why insist on a pre-installation at all? Does a voluntary opt-in model achieve the same goals without triggering this kind of confrontation with the handset makers, Apple and Samsung in this case?
I would agree with you. I think it is a bit of an overkill, and I do agree with Rakshit ji that yes, the app is powerful. The app does allow you to identify whether your SIM, whether there are SIMs in your name, that you never purchased or got, or similarly that your device itself is illegal, etc. All that is very good, and I think this should be left to user pull rather than be pushed onto the user. And I think doing it the way we are doing it, I think is a bit of an overreach and has many potential pitfalls that I do believe need to be looked at carefully.
It seems like India is walking this tightrope right now in balancing user safety and device security, and then the broader question of how far regulation should go in what is clearly a fast digitizing economy right now. So the coming weeks are going to tell whether New Delhi and the global tech majors, they can find common ground. It's a piece that we are tracking very closely. But Mahesh Uppal and Rakshit Tandon, thank you very much for joining us with your insights on this. Thanks indeed.